I'm Shane Hoefer, CEO of Rocky Mountain Forest Products. Watch how we're changing the industry.
I've been here for coming up on 28 years. When I first started, Dennis hired me to sell installed fencing for was Rocky Mountain Fence Company. Basically fresh out of college, and kind of taught me how to sell. I mean, Dennis's management style was kind of more intimidation as far as forms of motivating you, which is kind of different than it is today. But I don't know, I mean, he took care of me. I mean, I never had to ask for a raise. He always took care of me, kind of treated me as part of the family.
When I was in high school, my passion was music. I was a guitar player, I was in all these metal bands. I remember, I was always trying to see if I could get people to the shows that we were putting on, so I would ask the people at work, and sometimes they would come, sometimes they wouldn't. We were trying to sell CDs, that's how old I am, and they would help me out, and they would try to pre-buy things, but I'm sure that was done out of obligation. But just like if someone else's kid around here was trying to start a band and they were trying to sell merch or something, I'd totally help them out as well. So I probably just came off a little naive, but no more so, I think, than any other 18-year-old.
No, I know he was in a hard rock band, and I know he liked heavy metal, and I wasn't into that, so that's one thing that we probably didn't have in common. But I know he was in a band, I knew that. I don't know what instrument he played, but... And I feel bad, I don't remember him being in the yard. I think he was in the yard, so obviously he didn't make a big impression on me then. But I remember him getting into sales and then getting into outside sales. But I also remember him also wanting to learn a lot, and I think he was kind of like his dad, where he read a lot and liked to learn and study the trade, and talking to some of the other guys.
It was a really rude awakening. I remember one time there was this one gentleman that to my face was so nice to me, and he was trying to teach me how to mountain climb and to do technical rock climbing and stuff like that. And then he would just say the most snide remarks about he's only here because he's his dad's son. It really hurt me at the time. I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, and I would like to think, at least from my perspective, I wasn't coming off entitled. I never was that guy that was just thinking that I should. I started off by cleaning the offices, for Pete's sake. It's not like I expected I should be starting at the top kind of thing.
I actually hired. He worked for me. He was in inside sales and had the shortest temper I think that I've ever seen. His feeling towards Shane, probably had some animosity and some jealousy as far as where he is and where he was at the time, and that his family owned the company, and his way of expressing it, when Shane wasn't around, I think he didn't talk most kindly of him.
At that point, the key, once I truly became leader, and I watched that with Marc, the thing that it just highlighted to me is never tell these guys you're going to try to do something you're not. If you're going to try to do it, you really need to try, and if you fail, you got to explain why you failed and how. And pretty much if you say you're going to do something, you have to freaking do it. That's how I was going to win everyone over.
If something went wrong, or if we had an idea, or we needed to make a decision on something, he was kind of the middleman consultant to try to feel it out, and then to see what his dad's temperature was, whether it was a good day to ask him for something, or whether it was, maybe we just need to wait until tomorrow, or it's not a good day. I think the overall image of Rocky Mountain has changed too, from a standpoint of when I got here, we sold fencing and siding primarily. Didn't do much in decking at all. It was primarily fencing, siding, and also cedar shakes. So I think the biggest thing is just in the past, it was just a blanket. We threw it all over. It was black and white, and there was no middle ground as far as, take it or leave it. Kind of where to now, it's looking more and more at individuals on a personal basis, and trying to motivate them differently than we had in the past.
We were the first ones to use any sort of the internet for marketing. As simple as Craigslist back then, but the rest of the locations were still reliant on the yellow pages.
I mean, I had more disagreements with Dennis than I did Shane from the standpoint of agreeing what we did and not agreeing with what we did. We drew out of a hat where once a week one of the guys would be able to go home like at 3:30, just to break up that monotony, because every day it's just coming at 7:30, leave at 5, and it's just nonstop all day long. And you just go home, you just want to drink, which is for the most part kind of what I did every night, but just getting home like 2 hours early to where just a little break in the action. And I think that's, some of these small cost rewards from a standpoint, Shane gives me the freedom to kind of, do what I want to do with those, and even having the barbecues on every Friday, just something different for the guys that some guys look forward to. Most of the guys eat the food.
Authenticity is key. To just be real. Don't try to bullshit people in any way, shape, or form. There's something in people, instinctually, they just know when someone's being honest.